What if I told you that in the next 30 seconds, you could start spotting small signs that someone might not be telling you the full truth? Not because you're psychic, not because you're paranoid, but because your brain already notices patterns. You just don't always trust them. Today, I am going to share 5 powerful body language cues often discussed by former investigators and behavioral experts, including techniques popularized by people like Joe Navarro. And before we begin, let me say something important. No single gesture proves someone is lying. The real skill is in spotting clusters of behavior. So, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll look at conversations very differently. Imagine this. You ask someone a simple question: "Where were you last night?" They pause. They look away. They touch their face. They give you an answer that sounds fine, but something feels slightly off. Most people ignore that feeling, but your brain picked up signals before your logic did. And that's what we're going to sharpen today. The first cue is sudden changes in behavior. This is one of the most important principles in behavioral analysis. You're not looking for nervousness. You're looking for a shift from baseline. Baseline means how someone normally acts when they are relaxed and telling the truth. Are they usually expressive? Calm? Do they use their hands when they speak? If someone is naturally quiet and avoids eye contact all the time, that's their baseline. But if they are usually confident and steady, and suddenly their body tightens, their voice changes, or they become overly still right after a specific question, that shift matters. Liars often experience stress when they fear being exposed, and stress leaks out in subtle ways. The key is timing. Did the change happen immediately after your question? That's when you pay attention. The second cue is self-soothing gestures. When people feel psychological discomfort, their bodies try to calm themselves. You might see neck touching, rubbing hands together, playing with jewelry, adjusting sleeves, or lightly covering the mouth. These are called pacifying behaviors. According to many behavioral experts, when someone feels threatened or anxious, blood flow increases and the skin becomes more sensitive, especially around the neck and face. So touching these areas can subconsciously reduce stress. Now here's the important part. Stress does not equal lying. Someone could be nervous because they don't want to be misunderstood. But if self-soothing gestures appear right after a direct question and disappear once the topic changes, that pattern becomes meaningful. The third cue is inconsistency between words and body. Our words are controlled by the conscious brain. Our body often reacts faster than our speech. For example, someone says no, that didn't bother me at all, but they slightly shake their head yes. Or they say, I'm fine, while their shoulders collapse and they avoid eye contact. These small mismatches can reveal inner conflict. Another example is delayed gestures. A truthful person's facial expressions and words usually match in timing. If someone says they're happy, but the smile appears a second later, that delay can suggest the emotion is being manufactured rather than felt. Again, we're looking for clusters, not single moments. The fourth cue is overcompensation. Many people believe liars avoid eye contact. Interestingly, some do the opposite. They hold intense, unblinking eye contact because they think that's what honest people do. They may also provide too much detail. Instead of a simple answer, they give a long explanation filled with unnecessary information. Sometimes they repeat your question before answering it, buying time to create a response. Over-explaining can be a strategy to sound convincing. Think about it. When you tell the truth, you usually just say it. When you're making something up, you often feel the need to decorate it. The fifth cue is freezing behavior. When humans feel threatened, we think of fight or flight. But there's a third response: freeze. Some people become unusually still when they're lying. Their gestures reduce. Their posture stiffens. It's as if their body is trying not to attract attention. You might notice fewer natural hand movements or a rigid smile that doesn't reach the eyes. This stillness can be a stress response. And again, timing matters. Did the freeze happen right when a sensitive topic came up? Now, let's go deeper, because spotting these cues is not about catching people. It's about understanding human psychology. Lying creates cognitive load. When someone lies, they must invent a story, remember it, monitor your reaction, and control their own behavior at the same time. That's mentally exhausting. This load can slow response time. You may notice a longer pause before answering, or shorter answers than usual. Some liars simplify their story to avoid getting caught in details. Others complicate it too much. Both extremes can signal stress. But here's something powerful. Truthful people can also show stress. Hollowed. Hollowed. Your body would react to. That's why professionals are trained not to accuse based on one sign. Instead, they observe patterns over time. If multiple cues appear together, especially right after specific questions, that increases the probability of deception. It's about probability, not certainty. Let me give you a real-life scenario. You're in a relationship, and you ask your partner about a message you saw. Before you even finish the sentence, they cross their arms, lean back, and say, "Why are you always suspicious?" Notice the deflection. Instead of answering, they attack the question. Deflection is not body language, but it often appears alongside stress signals. Watch for topic shifts, blame shifting, or answering a different question than the one you asked. Those patterns combined with physical cues can be revealing. Another scenario. A coworker is asked about a missed deadline. They immediately look down, inhale sharply, rub their neck, and say, "I sent that email. I think." The word think creates distance. Qualifying language like "to be honest," "basically," or "as far as I remember," can sometimes signal uncertainty, not always deception, but possible cognitive strain. Now I want you to pause and think about your own behavior. Have you ever lied, even a small white lie? What did your body do? Maybe you avoided eye contact. Maybe you felt your heart race. That physical reaction is normal. Lying activates stress because we fear social consequences. Humans are wired for connection, and deception threatens trust. That internal conflict leaks out physically. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Microexpressions, a concept studied by psychologists like Paul Ekman, are very brief facial expressions that flash for a fraction of a second. These can reveal concealed emotions. For example, a quick flash of anger before a smile. But spotting micro-expressions takes serious training. Most people won't reliably detect them in real time. So instead of chasing tiny facial twitches, focus on bigger, more noticeable patterns, timing, clusters, baseline shifts. And let's talk about confidence. Some people lie very smoothly. They don't show obvious nervousness. In fact, experienced deceivers can appear relaxed. That's why relying only on nervous behavior is risky. Instead, ask unexpected follow-up questions. Liars rehearse main points, but surprise questions increase cognitive load. If their story changes or becomes inconsistent, that tells you more than a fidget ever could. I also want to add something important for your peace of mind. Becoming hyper-focused on catching lies can damage relationships. If you constantly scan for deception, you may start seeing it everywhere. This skill should be used carefully and ethically. The goal is awareness, not paranoia. Trust is built through patterns over time, not a single conversation. So how can you practice this skill safely? Start by observing neutral situations. Watch interviews. Notice how people behave when they're comfortable versus when they re-challenged. Observe yourself in the mirror when you talk about something stressful. Build your understanding of baseline behavior. The more you observe without judgment, the sharper your intuition becomes. By now, you probably realize something powerful. Spotting a liar in 30 seconds is not about magic tricks. It's about attention. It's about noticing shifts, timing, clusters, and inconsistencies. It's about understanding that the body often reacts before words catch up. And most importantly, it's about staying calm yourself. When you remain steady, you make it easier to observe others clearly. Before we end, I want to ask you something. Have you ever trusted your gut about someone and later found out you were right? Or maybe you ignored your intuition and regretted it. I want you to share your experience in the comments, not to judge anyone, but to learn from each other. Because understanding human behavior helps us protect our boundaries, choose better relationships, and communicate more clearly. Remember, no single cue proves deception. Even trained professionals make mistakes. These signals only increase or decrease probability. So, use this knowledge with wisdom and fairness. The real power isn't in catching someone. It's in understanding human stress, emotion, and behavior on a deeper level. If this opened your eyes even a little, imagine what paying closer attention in your daily conversations could reveal. Stay observant, stay balanced, and most importantly, stay curious about the psychology behind what people say and what their bodies quietly show.